And now that we're back, just want to give one last final thank you to Martino for, always being a wonderful
His
guest.
time, bro. He
Yeah,
gave
his
us an
time.
hour.
Yeah, he said he was only able to do 30 and he stuck around for an hour. And we greatly appreciate that because Martino always gives us like the whole, the whole 9 yards whenever he's a guest on the pod. So
Yeah,
thank you, Martino. I
definitely
really,
appreciate
I
it.
really do. Once again, I'm going to emphasize giving them a follow. Quality Milanisti content. So moving away from Milan, since we had a good amount of it, we're gonna shift towards other teams in the league. The
Yeah.
biggest news, and I'm gonna pass the ball a bit to Adri, but the biggest news is basically the Tudor situation at Juventus. Get after getting his extension, gets sacked. And now there's potential news of Spalletti coming in. Apparently, he's traveling tomorrow to sign the actual contract. We're still waiting for pen to paper. Adri, what do you think of this whole situation?
Crazy, Johnny. Listen, I think we said it last week. We had, we didn't clip it, but we should have. But we spoke a bit about it last week. I know when Nick was here, I kind of brought it up, and we had our little opinions on it. And I said he wouldn't eat the panettone. I didn't think he'd make it to Christmas. That even exceeded my expectations. Sacked. When was it? The other day, officially. Obviously, it's amazing how they magically get a not magically, but they sacked Tudor. They get a result today against Udinese, the 3-1. They hadn't won in 8 games and they hadn't scored in forever, and it just seemed like so doom and gloom to get a result today. And not to really smooth out all the negative, but still they get a good result today against Udinese, and without Tudor. So was he the first? We have to go back, and again, Nick's not here to bring it up, but I think we have it pinned somewhere. But he wasn't our picks for first manager sacked in Serie A. I don't think. If I remember mine, I think I had said Juric for Atalanta because I didn't think that would work out. We can maybe speak about that later. But yeah, listen, I didn't think, just to echo what I had said in past shows, Johnny. I didn't see Tudor as the long. I know they extended him to whatever year it was, next year, 2 years from now, but I still didn't see him as the long term real solution for Juve. Again, like I said, I didn't think he moved the needle. He pushed the needle all too much as a manager. I know the history with the club. I know he has that relationship, but it seemed like there was something there broken too. Because you kind of, again, if you want to believe what's in the news and what gets spewed out, there seemed to be a bit of rumblings of some disagreements in the locker room. And Johnny, you know better than me, and in all sports that we follow, once the coach loses the room, it's almost game over, right? There almost seems to be no turning back that ship. So, am I surprised? No. Did I expect it to happen this fast? I can also say no because I thought he would. I didn't think he'd make it to Christmas. The famous Italian saying of if he's going to eat the panettone or not. I said no. It happened earlier than I even expected, but um, I guess chapeau to Juve to really stand on business, like we like to say, and making that bold move. They're turning to Spalletti, and we'll speak about that. Again, not the move that I think is going to really again bring you to another level, but yeah, surprise, no, but did it need to be done? I would say probably yes.
So, I'm going to slightly disagree with you because you brought up a
Yeah,
good point about how, like we've seen it with our teams, right? So, I'll use a quick analogy.
yeah,
The Don Sweeney era of the Boston Bruins. He fires Julien because they missed the playoffs for 2 years in a row by 1 point. So, they hire Bruce Cassidy. Under Bruce Cassidy, right? They have a great period. They make the finals in 2019, lose in the Stanley Cup finals, but you still have phenomenal teams throughout those years because you win the President's Trophy twice. But it wasn't Bruce Cassidy, it's Don Sweeney not being able to give Bruce the players that he's looking for to help support his star players. Then obviously the team goes on a bit of a slide. You lose the confidence of some players in the room or some of the youngsters. You fire Don Sweeney, you hire Jim Montgomery. Now, during the era of Jim Montgomery, right, the Bruins are still good, but they lose to the first round to the Panthers, which were the better team, obviously speaking. But then
yeah,
Jim Montgomery just gives up on coaching, and he makes a comment such as, oh, basically let Bergeron coach the team and give his opinions. Like it's as if Montgomery just gave up because he's tired of, like trying to manage players that he's unable to. But this whole time, Don Sweeney's not doing anything in terms of youth management. Horrible draft choices, horrible. Always trading away your first round pick. You got no youth in the system. And now look where the Boston Bruins are right now, near the bottom of the NHL in the rebuild phase, because Don Sweeney basically never took the time to actually properly draft and develop players. He got lucky with some, like maybe like he fumbled in 2015. He got lucky with Charlie McAvoy, Swayman, and now like James Higgins. But you can only, like, a broken clock is right twice in a day. So in my opinion, now with Juventus, it's not the first time they win a game after firing their coach, but there's so many coach firings you can do until you realize, like, management's not giving the team that we need. It's not the team that we want. So you fire manager, you hire Allegri. He wants to go a direction. You let go of Allegri. You hire Motta. You let go of Motta. You hire Tudor. You let go of Tudor. You hire. Now you're going to hire Spalletti. This is more of a revolving door of managers, when in reality, it's like the team's not built for any manager right now. And the more you move these managers, the more the team's going to feel mismanaged. Then you have Vlahovic making comments about like, oh, like I'm not worried about my future. I'm just thinking about the present. But this guy's probably halfway out the door mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like he was almost out the door during the summer. So Martino perfectly touched upon it a little bit with Vlahovic, having connections with Allegri, and Allegri want to go after Vlahovic. Now we have to see if that's going to happen, if Juve's going to try to milk Milan of more money.
Sure.
Being a rival club and everything, right? So, I think this is actually not the solution for Juventus. I want to defend. I'll defend the supporters of the club when it's like they're just getting fucked over by terrible management. I feel like that's what's the issue with the
starts
team.
Upstairs. It definitely starts upstairs.
Yeah,
with anything in life, Johnny, a house, you need a strong foundation. That's that. You start from the bottom and you work your way up. In sports, in the cultural world that we're covering, it starts at the top and it trickles down all the way to the guy passing around coffees, right? Like it really is how things are done. When a fish is rotten from the head, it's obviously not a good fish, right? And if you have a bad management, not putting the team and the club as a whole in a place to succeed, we're gonna have this continuously, like Nick likes to say, this rinse repeat of managers, of players, of other supporting cast people. It's a bad look. So again, I think it starts upstairs too. I definitely agree with that. Gone are the days of obviously the Agnelli era. It seems they're far away from that. And yes, they have the money, but are they properly using it? Are they properly funding? Like there's still holes in this squad, but you look at upstairs and it seems like they're not really making the right decisions themselves either, and they're not really football people. So, listen, there's a flurry of problems, I guess you can say, at Juventus, but and again, it's when you come down to the coach, and what's another saying that we always say in sports, you can't get rid of the whole team, and the easiest thing to do is get rid of the coach, right?
but it's so
it's cliche, but again, like Nick says, it's rinse repeat, and you're really not going forward. You're taking one step forward to 3 steps back. So, but that's kind of what it is.
But then you look at teams with consistent ownership, and you can see the difference, right? Like Napoli having Aurelio Di Laurentiis since
it's been what, 20 days. How long has it been now? 20 something years now? No, longer.
It's gonna be about 21 years right now that he's owned the club.
21 years.
Look at that. He's brought the team from Serie C to Serie C to Serie A. Won Scudetto twice with them. Won a few Coppa Italias, a Super Coppa. Brought them into a Champions League contention every time. Like he's like that's the quality of a team. Like having good direction, ownership. Roma, for example, you could see it in the standings. Roma being owned by the Friedkin Group. They come in, okay, we have to revamp things. What do? They start off with Mourinho, kind of establishing a bit of a new culture within the club. They win the Europa Conference League. I know it's the third tier European trophy. It's still a European trophy nonetheless. And now look, they're like, okay, now we've got Gasparini to come in. Let's establish a system.
There's been a steady incline.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a steady. It's linear. It's growing. It might not be
Yeah,
the fastest rate, but it
yeah,
grows.
absolutely.
Inter, even though Inter had the ownership change from the Suning group to the Oak Tree group, it's still more or less like it just like the Suning group only left because of financial reasons. But besides that, like it seems like everyone still has their hens in a row. Como, obviously, we can't talk really about Como because it's just a wealthy ownership. So I wouldn't really want to bring in discussion to their project. But Atalanta, we'll get to them in a minute, but that was a different thing. But they were always in top four because of the direction that they had and stuff. And
Yeah,
I just feel like Juventus's like main crutch right now is themselves. They are their own. Hey, I mean, I'll say this as a rival fan. I don't care if Juve loses all the time. I really don't.
no,
But as a Calcio podcaster and
yeah,
as a person who's got a lot of empathy, I feel for the Juventini where it's like they're used to being a very strong, dominant club, and now it's like what their fifth management hire in 3 seasons. Like it's something crazy. Motta, Allegri, Tudor, Spalletti, and who was right before Allegri?
Pirlo, no,
Was it Pirlo?
I thought or no, Sadi, no, I forget.
Well, then if you want to go like the past 5 years, it's like you have
Yeah,
Pirlo, you have Sadi,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous. It's in my head, it's ridiculous. So
Do you
I
being seeing that you've had to deal with Spalletti on multiple occasions with your teams,
yeah,
and obviously we
this guy's
had
been
to
passed around all of Serie A teams. Yeah,
yeah we had
Fiorentina,
to
Roma, Napoli, Inter.
we
Now
had
he's
to
going to
in,
Juve.
we had to endure him with the national team obviously, but your thoughts and opinions on once he does put pen to paper, because I think it'll probably happen tomorrow if not the next day. Um, and I think the contract is until June 2020, like until the next summer. And if they qualify for Champions League, there's a possible extension for another year. Do you think he steadies this ship, or do you think it just continues to sink?
I honestly think it's probably going to sink a little bit because his formation doesn't seem to fit any of the players that he has available on his roster. Because he likes to favor the 4-3-3, or like he likes to favor a 4-man back line. I mean, Juve kinda has a decent 4-man back line, but the mid to support it is okay, and then it's the issues where they have a plethora of like forwards ready to go, but it's like you it's not that it's abundance of riches, it's just like you have too much there. It's like when you put too much toppings on a pizza and the
Yeah,
pizza just falls apart.
it
Like the
flops.
crust is good, the cheese is good, but then the toppings come along and it just
Yeah,
as you try to take a bite, that's what it feels like. I feel like if you do get Spalletti, you're gonna have to move a couple of players and probably try to get back some money on the salaries and stuff. So maybe we do see Dusan Vlahovic transferring over to Milan come winter transfer window.
yeah,
It
I
wouldn't
don't
be
know.
the first time that he transfers during the winter transfer window, right?
Yeah,
It wouldn't be the first time, and I don't think it wouldn't be the last. So,
yeah.
but moving on from Juve, some highlights in Serie A right now to talk about. Atalanta sitting in ninth place right now, right? But now, and you think, like, oh, Atalanta ninth place, so, probably they're having a shaky season. They're still undefeated. They have 2 wins,
Crazy.
but 7 draws. It's they have 13 goals for, which isn't so bad in the league. It's tied for like I'm just doing a quick check here. It's tied for fourth overall in terms of offense in the league, in terms of goals for.
Mm.
But what really kills them the most is that, they're it's just like they can't score more than a goal a game sometimes, like
Yeah,
it's and when the games that they do score more than a goal a game, the other team just manages to, even it up. So
yeah.
it's crazy seeing without Gasparini, how this team has just completely changed.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been a Gasperini ran team for however many years it was, and he really put his imprint into that club, into that city, into that fan base. Like it's clear, and again, like I had mentioned with Tudor, for me, Juric again doesn't move the needle, doesn't isn't really a manager that's gonna take you to that next level, or even stay on par to the level that you're at. Again, I didn't realize that they were still undefeated. You brought it up just before we came back on here after having Martino, and I was like shaking my head. 2 wins and 7 draws, like they're pulling the Juve of last season. Like it's incredible. I do think they have pieces that can work out and that can do well, but again, defensively, they need to obviously do better. And again, the attack, I mean, it's more or less the same attack in I think last season, if not years past, and um, it's just a different mentality with a guy like Gasparini and a manager like Juric. Like it's a bit of different ideologies, and when you're with when you're with someone for so long, you kind of and then you change. It's not always going to be the it could be the best outcome, but sometimes it's not. So again, I think if they can obviously get a couple more wins in that win column, we're singing a different praise with Atalanta, but um, I don't see them like personally. And again, I don't remember where we had them in our preseason rankings. I don't think I had them. I want to say that I had them just missing out
I
on
think
Europe,
I
if I'm not
have that
mistaken.
somewhere here. But let's hear. Keep not
Yeah, if
notes.
you have them there,
Yeah.
pull it up. But I think I had them in like eighth or ninth, and right around par where they are now. So, or even maybe 10th. I don't remember, but still, I think there's too many teams that are doing better and that are in better form and that I think are just better of quality than Atalanta currently. And it's no disrespect to them because they are a good club and they have good players and they have some quality, but when you have the likes of Napoli, Roma, Inter, Milan, even Juve, if you really want to say, Como for that matter, right? Like we were saying a bit off air, Johnny,
Yeah.
Como that's doing better than them. It's I think it'll be close come the end, but they I don't see them where I saw them in years past, pretty much.
So I saw our predictions. Nick had them to finish in sixth in the league.
Wow. Okay.
I had them out of the top seven, and you also had them out of the top seven.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
far, our
figured.
predictions are basically coming true.
Yeah.
Basically,
Still early, but just to say, I mean, I
yeah,
think they'll probably still flutter with the range that they're at now, personally.
yeah. But where we're going wrong so far is that we also all picked Cremonese to be one of the relegated teams, and that's another team that keeps on surprising. Cremonese eighth place, with a
Insane.
big win today versus Genoa. Genoa. It's always sad to say because like Genoa Club Toronto is such like a big good friend of the show and stuff,
Yeah,
and
Fabrizio.
yeah, and we always want them to do well, especially if they have like 9 Scudetti. You just want to see them just win that 10th. Like, you're not even, who cares if they beat your team for it? You just want to see them win
At
that
that
10th one,
star.
just to get that star. It's just it's irking me, and I'm not even a fan of Genoa. Just
Oldest
get,
club in Italy, guys. It's
yeah,
crazy.
so so they're sitting in eighth. Como's sitting in fifth. And that's going to show the financials behind Como's basically helping them, stay relevant in Serie A. Bologna in sixth, which that's another group of another team of solid but consistent ownership. But mind you, consistent as of late. There was a period where he's flip flopping back and
Yeah, it
forth
was bad.
between Montreal and Bologna,
And
and the
Bologna.
fan and Bologna was really laying into him. Like, the city was really laying into him, and now I feel like as if he's fully committed to Bologna because Champions League is a realistic option for the club now, or international European competition, rather than what, even though North America you technically make more money in terms of what people have in terms of revenue generated without putting money in. Bologna is kind of producing that.
Yeah.
Other big surprises in Serie A right now. Sorry, guys, we don't have too much time, so we're just gonna go through them quickly. Napoli Roma contending for top spot is something I thought I wouldn't be seeing this season.
Stop the count. Stop the count.
Stop the count. Stop the count. Basically, what's keeping them apart is basically a 2-goal differential.
Yeah.
But it shows what much of a difference Dybala does for the squad versus not having Dybala for Roma. Dybala coming up big in the game versus Sassuolo, scoring that goal, and then also being very big for this game versus Parma, being a big supporter. Whereas Napoli, they're finally starting to find a little bit of despite the tumbles that they've had, especially with them when the last episode we talked about their 3 losses out of 4.
Yeah.
Now they're starting to get they're starting to get a groove again, so that's good. But I was talking to Adrian right before we continue recording. The biggest surprise I think right now that we kind of need to see in Serie A is that Fiorentina is sitting 19th in the league. Fiorentina, one of the sette sorelle of Serie A, is sitting 19th in the league. It's just bonkers to me, you know?
Yeah, no, it's
Zero wins. Zero wins.
yeah, yeah, it's a bit sad, to be honest with you. Just to see the fall happen so fast too. Like this is a team that obviously historic club, beautiful city. If people haven't been to Florence, you have to make your way there. Firenze it's an amazing city. It's different from the south, obviously from where we're from, but it has its beauty and it's really a remarkable city. But yeah, the club is and it's crazy because I feel like Comiso has put in his money, has embarked on this journey, has done or wants to do more, and in terms of stadium, he obviously did the big Viola Park project, the training ground, and all that, and changing of coaches within the last handful of seasons. From a guy like Italiano to Palladino to now Stefano Pioli, and it's again we spoke about it probably I think a couple weeks ago, Jenny, and like, is it really only on Pioli? Is it the player? Like, it's crazy. This is a team, again, like I said, historic, has been to, what was it, Ja? 2, 3 Conference League finals in a row. I think it was. Like,
Yeah.
I know they didn't win, but like
Yeah.
and again, I know it's like you said, the third level of European competitions, but still, a team like Fiorentina that was able to compete in those types of competitions and made it to the finals 3 times or 2, 3 times, whatever it was, and now they haven't even mustered up a win in Serie A. Like, something is up. They had the tied Capocannoniere player last season in Moise Keane. I think he has what, 1, 2? No, he has more than one
Two
goal.
goals. He has
I
two
think he
goals.
has 2 goals, right?
Yeah.
It's
But that's even sad to see.
it's absurd because in 9 match days, 2 goals. This guy was top of the scoring charts last season alongside Reteki, and now he has 2 goals and the club has 0 wins. I think it's more than just a manager thing. It has to be. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We don't know, obviously, but if there's friction, if there's what's going on, but. Um, Something needs to change, and soon, because we can end this season without Fiorentina and Serie A. It could become a real possibility if things don't change. So again, I know that's a dramatic answer, but and dramatic result, but and we're still early, so again, there is time to recoup, but it's crazy to me to think that a team that has, I would say, probably consistently the last handful of years been fighting for Europe, a European competition. That sixth, seventh, maybe fifth. Like, let's say 5 to 8, like that range of club in Serie A. That we always like to say, that Fiorentina, that Bologna of late. Now this Como seems to be like that. Maybe hopefully that new team, Sassuolo back in the days, and now they're just falling drastically. It's really head scratching, Johnny, if I'm honest with you.
I think also what really plays a factor into it is basically uh I think honestly speaking, I think it just lost of key players. Like I remember going to watch the game in Fiorentina two years ago in
Yeah,
Florence. Amrambat, it was one of their conference league games, but basically Amrambat was just Europa League games. Amrambat was basically like the linchpin of that midfield for them. You lose him. Nico Gonzalez being sold to Juve because they like to sell all their fucking prospects to Juventus. It's
yeah,
over time, if you keep on moving these key players, I know you got Moise Keane from them, and you basically rejuvenated Moise Keane's career, but you're losing too much, in my personal opinion. I could be completely wrong, and someone can, disprove me very easily, I feel. But from what I'm witnessing from a third party view is that you're losing too many. It's not like as if you're selling things and you're getting good quality back. It feels like as if you're selling your gems or moving your linchpins, but
Yeah,
you're not replacing them. And then over time,
adequately.
and
Yeah.
it's not like as if and then this is no disrespect to the city of Florence. City of Florence is a beautiful city, very financially well city and stuff, but it's like Fiorentina is not, even though it is one of the Sette Sorelle, it's not one of the big three of Serie A. And
No,
I would like to argue that now there's a big, now I'm not saying this as a bias, I'm saying this realistically. I like to argue that Napoli is putting themselves in a big four position just because of how much positive income that they have with their players, but also basically they're their club of the South. So essentially, everyone in the South basically kind of supports Napoli because they're the ones that are competing with the North. That's just, it is what it is. It's like it's basically all the what's the diaspora of Serie A, like the diaspora of Italy, like all North American stuff. All the Napolitani are basically all the Campagnoli are basically supporting Napoli and stuff. So they have that, and you can see in their financials, it's been like this for the past 5-6 seasons. They're one of the few clubs, if not probably one of the only ones, that are in the positives, in the greens for in terms of finances. So the reason why I'm saying this is that Fiorentina is not a team that could survive relegation. They're not a team that can they need to stay in Serie A. Because I feel like if they get relegated, it's just gonna be a downward spiral for them. It's gonna be something that we're gonna like Palermo-esque. You know what I mean? Like where Palermo, once they got relegated, they just spiraled down because they sold too many key players. Because you look at the Palermo's history of all these young talents that they had, and then you move them all.
The projected squad of the what ifs, that if they
Yeah,
didn't sell their players, what it would be today.
they would
Yeah,
definitely
it's
be a Champions League competing team,
incredible.
Palermo.
Yeah,
Obviously now some of their players that they had during that era
but
have,
that
have a lot of,
Zamparini era was absurd.
yeah.
It was a bit crazy. I don't know. I
But the,
think Comiso would be able to, like, the money that he has. I think he's a bit of a more, I don't want to say reliable owner. Like, I would think.
but
I don't know.
it's also more of a sense of as an owner, right? Like you like as much as Comiso's, trying to, he started the project of building a new stadium in Florence and stuff. And
Well, the Frankie needs work. You saw it firsthand,
yeah,
John.
yeah.
The
No,
Frankie needs work.
it does. It does. Beautiful. I like the vibe of it though. But
Oh,
I agree.
absolutely, but it
Yeah,
needs work.
I agree. I agree. But also their ultras are probably some of the best ultras I've ever heard. But back to the Comiso point, at the end of the day, you're a business owner, and
Yeah,
no disrespect, I'm pretty sure Comiso does have a heart in the club. He wants, he's an Italian American, but
yeah.
first gen Italian. He wants to do something back for
The
it
motherland,
the motherland. At the end of the day, money talks,
of
and
course. He's a
if
business guy.
exactly, and if this type of owner, if this type of asset is going to make you bleed money more than make you money,
Yeah, he's gonna.
I don't think Camiso sticks around for too long after that. I feel like I could be proven wrong. I don't want I'm being a big, before anybody takes me out of context. I don't want to see Fiorentina in Serie B. I
No, no.
don't. I think it'd be criminal if they're in Serie B, but projected wise so far, it's not looking good. 0 wins, 4 draws, 5 losses. Moise Keane. By the way, that's another thing. If they have to relegate, Moise Keane doesn't stay in Fiorentina. He's
No.
definitely going to get on the
We'll
move.
take him on Milan on a discount.
Oh yeah,
Definitely, we'll take him
yeah.
on Milan. But
But
no, I totally agree. I mean, it'd be sad. But there's also that devil's advocate, right? That we've seen currently. I know it's different levels to it, but that Serie B wake up call, come back up, and you're kind of revived a bit. We saw that with the Genoa, we saw that with the Sassuolo. Again, do we see that with the Fiorentina? I don't know. I hope not. Like, we don't want to see that happen for the league, but listen, it's their selves to blame, I would think, at the end of it. So they need to muster up something positive soon, because I think it's only a matter of time that they probably let go of Pioli, and he would probably be the second coach fired. It almost seemed like he was going to be the first after seeing this crazy slow start, but He's still there, and we'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, it's hopefully brighter days for Fiorentina. But the bright days have stayed in Naples and in Rome, I would think, right? Like Napoli, Roma, like you
Mm-hmm.
alluded to earlier.
They don't call it Derby della Sole for no reason,
For no
right?
reason, right? There you go. That's a great layup. But one thing I just wanted to add before we probably wrap this up, or I guess two things. Roma, I don't know. They don't concede goals. It seems like, or they barely concede goals. Like I think Svilar is what top in clean sheets in the league, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Like for me, Roma looks like a well-oiled machine. It must be encouraging.
Gasperini.
Gasperini.
Gas-
It must be
Gasperini.
good for you. Like obviously, like encouraging for you, Johnny. Your quick thought on Roma and obviously we play each other this weekend. Like I alluded to earlier, it's a huge match, and I think for Milan it's a must win.
Mhm.
Your quick thoughts on that, and I just had another quick point for Napoli after.
It's gonna be a very, very excruciating type of game because Roma already has trouble with scoring, and if you're gonna go up against Allegri, you know that you're barely gonna get a goal in if you're lucky.
Fair.
So, and it's like as if like they have a pushover in it. Like I said earlier in the show, Magnan is a phenomenal goalie. Yes, recently he has barely let in a couple of them, but prior to that, like he's been lights out. So it's and if you so you're gonna have a hard time even getting to him, and when you even get to the keeper, okay, I was about to say Tendi because I'm thinking hockey. When you're gonna get to the keeper, you have a really good shot stopper in Magnan. So
Yeah,
uh, I'm not feeling too confident about this match. I feel it's going to lean more towards a draw because of Roma having issues with scoring and because of Allegri's style of play. Um, Even with Dybala coming back, and I said before that Dybala coming back is very key for the team. It's not it's not. I don't think it's going to be good enough to get them over the line. So I'm
I
going.
think it might just neutralize. Like they'll just neutralize themselves.
Yeah. So I'm actually thinking it's going to be a very calm 0-0 draw. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah. If I said must win, and I still stick by that, and in my head, it looks like a 1-0, in my opinion. Ultimately, it probably could go either way, if I'm honest. But for Milan's sake, like I said earlier, when we had Martino on, it's a must win. The results that happened prior, seeing those results and knowing what that is and how we drop points to teams that, again, no disrespect, we shouldn't have dropped points to. You need to pick up maximum points against Roma this weekend. There's almost no looking at any other, not looking at it any other way. Like it has to be a win, in my opinion. And listen, does it end up being one? We'll see on Sunday. But yeah, I don't see it being a goal fest. You say 0-0, I'll probably say a 1-0 for Milan. The last little thing I wanted to, we'll probably wrap up after this. Obviously, Napoli looking strong. I think the one, again, downer or negative is the De Bruyne injury, right? After taking the
Yep.
PK, he scores,
He's
pulls up
based.
right away, and it seems to be out for a handful of months, 3-4 months. I was seeing.
He's out at least until till 2026. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah, until the
like
new year.
yeah, that's basically what the reports are coming in. If he comes in just slightly earlier, it could be basically a miracle. The De Bruyne injury is something that's like it's gonna hurt the team, especially for their Champions League push. Um, Quote unquote push. Conte is basically trophy that he's been trying to chase his entire career. It's not just a it's his entire career. He's
Yeah,
always been trying to chase Champions League title, still not able to get it. And then this De Bruyne blow is just, it just adds more to it. And I like what Conte has said recently in a press conference where he's like, I don't know why people are saying I'm celebrating this because he's like, you go win an Oscar if you think I'm acting like that. You know what I mean? So it's something like that. He says something silly like that. It was pretty funny. But essentially it's like he got De Bruyne for a reason. De Bruyne came to Napoli for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like they wanted to work together. De Bruyne came on a free. It's not like as if we bought him. He came on a free. So that means he came on his own volition to Napoli. These are guys that, yeah, they might butt heads or disagree, but it's because they're both winners. They're both competitors. They're both guys that wouldn't want to do anything to win. And if it's And if it's a disagreement, it's because it's just a professional disagreement. It's not gonna go anywhere beyond that. It's like it's only because of what's happening on the pitch. So losing a player like KDB, very, very big. It's tough because overall the team, like Lobotka being injured in the mid doesn't help. Now you lost KDB. That midfield is starting to thin off a bit,
But the results are still coming.
Yeah, but I'll be real with you. Like that, the first game against Milan, like that worried me in a sense of like playing against a really strong team.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I remember.
Like it's more like, okay, like I want to see them like play. Yeah, the 3-1 win versus Inter was big.
Huge.
Yeah, that was like, and that kind of balances out. So let's hope there's some consistency. But you had a healthy KDB in that lineup, and now you don't have him anymore. And now it's like, okay, McFlatima, is he back now? Is he back in form? Is he out of his little comfort stage?
Also,
like Serie A MVP last year. Not many, like it's not like as if an award that you can win lightly. Serie A MVP. It's a very they're on top of their game when they give MVP awards. So, and now you have rumors of McTominay. Barca's interested in him. Tottenham's interested in him. Whatever. I don't think anything's going to happen there, to be real with you. But all in all, I don't think Napoli's going to go further in the Champions League competition because Di Lorenzo just can't play against international competition. I don't know what's going on with this guy. Every Champions League game, he just has a horrendous performance. They have either red cards or bad luck happen to them. Conte just now he's losing players because of injuries and stuff. And I think for them at this point, like I'll be real with you, I don't mind sacrificing Champions League. Like in terms of like trying to make. I don't think we even had the squad to make that push because even with the additions that you got, you need to have a squad A and a squad B for Champions League.
I think they have
because like
personally, I think they have a squad A and squad B, but it's how confident you are in that squad B
and Conte's not.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But like even at that, like you give other players a chance, like Lorenzo Luca, every game has just been horrendous. Like
it's terrible.
It's
absurd.
It's terrible. Hold on, my doorbell rang and all my dog's barking. Oh, you can see my cat in the video over here. But sorry guys, because I'm saying a point, so you're gonna have to hear my dog barking in the background. I apologize. But
deal with it.
Deal with it. But it's like you can't. Conte, I don't blame him for not rolling a squad B because every time you want to and you try to give a player a chance, an opportunity to prove themselves, they shoot themselves in the foot. And I'm still gonna say it to this day: the Simeone transfer was fucking dumb. I will still argue that to this day, and until the day I die. Simeone was an Napolitan, in and out. He's Argentinian, but with Italian roots. Like he embraced Napoli, very big part of those two Scudetti. Like scoring key goals, had that phenomenal Champions League run. 1 year scoring like it was a goal every group stage game or something great. It was 3 in a row, 4 in a row. I can't recall the exact number. He really embraced the culture, the club, the city, and he should have been the secondary striker. Or the one to split them, especially now Lukaku's injured, right? Like,
and you knew that already, right? Like it wasn't like it was a shock. It happened right at the beginning of the season, so they did it twice, right? They did it to Simeone and they did it to Raspadori, right? So I don't know if you feel the same on him, but still,
no. Giacomino is Giacomino. Kisha Giacomino mio. But that's like Raspadori. I liked a lot for what his versatility was on the wings, especially now with Lang being injured and stuff. It's something you could definitely miss. But realistically speaking, you still have Politano. You still have, like Højlund was a good pickup in terms of secondary striker, but it's something that maybe you could have kept. Neres is just not perform like Neres has 2 assists and 7 appearances and stuff, which is
I think he's a good player though. I think he can work in there.
He needs to learn the language. I think that's what Conte is trying to say. He has to pick up Italian. But Lorenzo Luca, man,
he's been probably one of the bigger disappointments, I think, in the new acquisitions for Napoli.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
Yeah. Like when you wanted to get him as I think Conte wanted to try to mold him into a younger Lukaku. But it's just not working out to being a
Yeah.
younger Lukaku.
At all.
You just rather have a more mobile Rasmus Højlund for that. But that will wrap up my whole little
Rant.
rant with Napoli. Unless Nebia, my cat over here, do you have anything else you want to say?
Anything to add? No.
No. Okay.
Nothing to add.
So
Okay. So
yeah,
we'll wrap it up then. We'll wrap it up.
yeah, we'll wrap it up. So,
Um,
Adri, please tell all our wonderful
Yeah,
listeners where they can.
because I don't know how we're gonna break this up, guys. For anybody that's stuck with us, thank you so much. We appreciate you sticking with us on this crazy Wednesday evening here in Montreal, recording the Cultural Guys podcast. But yeah, I'll say it again. We'll probably break this up into two. Follow us on all socials, guys. It's very simple. It's how we can continue to grow, how we can continue to put out content, and where you can find us, like I said, on all social media platforms at the Cultural Guys. Very, very simple. For all audio version of the podcast and all your favorite podcasting platforms, anywhere you listen to a podcast or you find a podcast, you can find the Cultural Guys. Make sure to rate with 5 stars, leave a comment there. And for all video content of the pod, if it be shorts, long form video content, subscribe on YouTube, guys. Subscribe, post notifications, leave a thumbs up there too, comment, share, all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll be back definitely with bigger and better things in the future. A lot of things probably in the works coming soon. So keep following and keep supporting, and we love and appreciate you all. So we'll be back next week to talk a lot more culture. Thanks for listening. Ciao.
Bye.